All right, joining us on The American Dream, we have an expert panel. As a reminder, this is a show that was developed by me flying all across the country and finding the most reputable realtors in every city. This is a real show, not a reality show. So joining us on this panel are experts out of New Jersey and Seattle. We have Carrie Freeman out of Seattle. Also on the finance side, Dan Keller. Hello to both of you.
Hi.
And then across the country, we have Michelle Pais, who is, I believe, the top realtor there in that marketplace. Good to see you, Michelle, as well.
Hi, Craig. Hi, everyone.
So we're in a different kind of world right now. You know, the American Dream was originated on news style interviews like this, and then we evolved to going out in the field and showcasing neighborhoods and lifestyles and culture. And given the fact that we're in a global crisis right now, look, people need information now more than ever. So we said, look, let's pivot. We need to continue to give people great information. It's very confusing time, so nobody better to do it than those who are leading their individual marketplaces. So thank you for joining. Carrie, let's start with you. Obviously, we're going through this pandemic. It's got a lot of people in fear. How's it impacting the real estate market there in Seattle?
Well, as you know, it's impacting it quite a bit as far as people being confused and a little bit scared of what's going on. But in my opinion, crisis moments like this always create an opportunity as well. And what we're seeing is that people are really responding to doing virtual open houses and lives on Facebook and Instagram, and they're really taking to it. I mean, I was working this morning on putting another listing on. We're not seeing a slowdown right now in buyers and sellers too much, which is great. People are always going to have to buy and they're always going to have to sell. And the one thing I'm noticing is that they are really clinging to the people that are the experts in the area. They're not trying to take a sidestep to just find somebody who's going to give them a quick, cheap deal. They really are looking to us to be the people, the voice that gets them through this and tells them what's going on and guides them.
There's no shortage of realtors. I think in Seattle, there's probably 15,000. The whole premise of this show is where we vetted the professionals in every city, 52 cities across the country. And that's how we found people like you, so we could give timely information. Obviously, the circumstances now are a little bit different than we have in the past.
Right.
But nonetheless, I feel, I heard this recently and I felt it was spot on. There's a time, this is a time where you can be offensive and defensive at the same time, kind of a sports term here. Defensive, fear, don't let it take the wheel, but tighten your belt, make good decisions, be economically efficient. But on the offense, you have historically low interest rates. If people are in fear, they might be fire selling their homes. That gives great opportunities to buyers. So there's a lot of these things that exist if you have someone who's navigating the market that knows what they're doing. Before I go on to the finance side with Dan, who's out of Seattle as well, I want to talk to Michelle out of Jersey and just see what's going on there. What impact are you seeing? Give us some real stories of just the psychology. You have a lot of clients I know. How are they behaving? What are they saying?
Yeah, actually, no one's really in panic mode. We have about 30 under contract deals, and they're all closing. So we haven't really seen it affect the closing at all. What I've been noticing is, we have a big group and we focus on all different kind of price ranges from, entry level all the way to luxury market. I am seeing still anything under, I would say, $500,000. You are actually still seeing bidding wars. This morning I had 5 offers on one home. I would say anything over the $1 million mark. You are seeing a slowdown, and I think it's a lot because of the stock market. I think a lot of buyers are just waiting to see what happens. So I think now is an opportunity more than ever for agents that are, seasoned and are top of their game. They're going to shine. One thing that I am noticing already is a lot of agents that are newer to the business or have been in the business since, I would say, 2012 and on. They've never experienced a recession, not the recession. So I think it's going to wean out a lot of those as well. And that's, and that's not necessarily a bad thing either. So that's what I'm seeing. But overall, I mean, it really hasn't impacted us so much. I just think there's a lot of questions. And, listen, this is the first time we're all going through this. So we don't have all the answers. But I definitely am hopeful. And I think there's an opportunity out there for everybody.
Yeah, and I think there's new information daily. That's what's so important right now when we talk about true professionals in the market, that as things change, you need to have someone you can go to on the day-to-day. You talked about some of your high-end listings that you have. a lot of that is controlled by the stock market. We got to keep in mind the economy was just fine. The coronavirus came in and flipped the market upside down, but it's now stimulated. And so the coronavirus will pass. And what we'll be left with is an economy that was doing fine that's incredibly stimulated. So I think we'll see a V-shaped recovery, which there'll be people that navigate while it's happening. And then there'll be people that'll be ready in the front row seat when we come out of it to be in a really good position. Dan, I'm really eager to talk to you. You're on the finance side. So this is where the money is. This is what controls interest rates. A lot of confusion there. The Federal Reserve is saying short-term rates are at 0%. I got an email from the governor here in California saying, don't make your mortgage payment, which I think is crazy. So talk to me about what's happening on the finance side.
Yeah. I mean, I think both Carrie and Michelle, you're spot on in both your markets. And it's funny because we're on the opposite sides of the US. But the higher net worth clients right now, they're holding on. They're holding on to their money because of just one, fear, and then two, options. They're thinking that real estate might not be the best use of their money if the market were to crash. This is a time where people like us can explain their options and not just say, oh, I think you're making a wrong decision. You're going to walk away from $40,000, but just say, hey, let's take a step back and let's look at everything right now. If you were, and their concerns are that the housing market is going to crash. And I said, well, explain to me what you think about crashing. 10%, 20%, 10%. Okay, so let's say the market goes down by 10%, and you stay on the sidelines for a year, and you buy a year from now, but interest rates go up to 4.5%. It still makes more financial sense right now to lock in a 3.25 30-year fixed at today's home values than to wait a year to get a 10 or 20% down discount on that house, but then pay a whole percentage and a quarter higher, a percentage and a half higher in interest rates. So just being able to explain information like that is so important right now. I think the professionals are going to shine right now. Borrowers, sellers, real estate agents, mortgage lenders, our neighbors, they need lighthouses right now. They need us to help kind of navigate them through this in regards to the information that we have. We don't know it all. And this is the first time I've ever seen a situation like this in America, but we'll make it through this.
Michelle, I want to go back to you. What do you think the next 90 days look like for the real estate market? Do you think fear continues to take the wheel here? Do you think people are out there eager to find deals? Or do you think it's just a mixed bag of everything and it's case by case, which is probably the answer, but what do you think?
So from my experience, I'm getting a lot of buyers and sellers call me, and we're doing a lot of virtual walkthroughs and just answering a lot of questions. I can tell you there is fear, the fear of uncertainty, but on the flip side, I do have sellers that are just holding strong on their numbers. They all think that, the new spring market is going to be the summer market.
Carrie, I'm going to take the same question to you. I know you don't have a crystal ball either, but as far as the Seattle marketplace goes, what do you think the next 90 days look like?
I really just agree with Michelle. I think, I always have said that I don't have a crystal ball, but based on what I'm seeing and past experience, I think Michelle's absolutely right. We're still going to see people buying and selling. I'm seeing my sellers hold fast. I am seeing here in Seattle that people are taking advantage of the fact that they were in massive bidding wars right up before this. I had buyers that were losing out 5-6 times over before they could get into anything. And now we're still seeing some bidding wars for sure, but the people that are seeing there is an advantage here to actually get in, not only on a low interest rate, but into a house that they probably wouldn't have been able to get into 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. So I think we will see a little bit of an impact in the housing prices, but eventually it's going to even out like it always does.
Dan, Carrie mentioned something about this isn't 2008. When you hear that coming out of the financial sector, I'd love to hear you comment on that. Is this like 2008 or not?
I don't want to compare it to 2008, but I will tell you this. Pay close attention to the experts in your marketplace. That's the best thing. And people like myself that produce content through the American Dream and through my blog and through social media channels, and like Carrie, Now, Melissa, it's lean on the professionals. The professionals have been there before. I started in the mortgage industry in 2008. I know Carrie was up here in Seattle, was in the real estate business in 2008, and we navigated through those waters and we came out on the other side. And this is where the professional, like I said earlier, will shine. And our jobs, when we're not funding mortgages and real estate agents showing homes, our jobs is to watch the market and to pay close attention to data so that we can relay it in a make sense fashion to you, the consumer.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, Carrie, out of Seattle. Dan Keller, mortgage professional out of Seattle as well. Look, you just heard coast to coast from Seattle to New Jersey. The American Dream is a national show centered around real estate, lifestyle, and culture. Today, we brought you some of the best experts all across the country to give you a diverse opinion about what's going on. And I think what we can all agree on is knowledge is power. You're not going to get this from a 24/7 news cycle. It's predicated on negativity. So what we do with these panels, we vet the professionals. We make sure these are the best in the business. And you just heard from three of the top, the best nationwide. So thank you. Great panel. And if anybody has questions, I hope they can reach out to you, find you on social media, connect with you. And just remember, stay healthy, stay safe, but stay inspired. We will get through this. More of the American Dream coming up next.